Hello crafters and welcome back for another tutorial Thursday with me, Deepa from Designs by D on the Scrap and Stamp YouTube channel. Today we're going to be creating this quick and easy card using this 3-piece recipe. Well, that's what I'm calling it, and we did use this on our card last week. So this is the card we used. I'll link that at the top here. It'll also be linked at the end of this video. And I want to kind of reiterate the technique that we used with this card on the card for today. That one was for Christmas. This one is going to be about summer fun. And when I think about summer fun, I think about fun treats. So we are going to be using this Candies and Doughnuts Ephemera from AALL Create. It has all of these fun looking pieces. You've got donuts, candies, just really fun things that we tend to pig out on and have fun with during summer. Then I've also got the Dolce Vita stamp set. This is going to be for our sentiment. And then we've also got the film strip dies from the Crafty Canuck, which we are going to use as basically our design composition guide. So I'm starting off with a beautiful purple cardstock here. I think that it matches the colors in that Candies and Doughnuts Ephemera pack really well. I put that to the side for now, and I'm grabbing that film strip die from the Crafty Canuck. And there are 3 different sizes of film strips here. I'm grabbing the largest, the one with the largest window, and I'm going to cut this out of some silver cardstock twice and also out of some white cardstock twice. I'm going to use the white cardstock as backing behind the silver to give it a little bit of a lift. So it's got a tiny bit of dimension there. And then I'm also using the white negative part of that die cut for the center of the film strip. So you'll notice I can kind of just inlay it here and pop it in, and that'll be our film strip on our card. Now let's take a look at all of this ephemera in this pack. Now the pack that I had last time had some white pieces where you could color them in yourself. This one does not have that. They're all kind of colored in, which I'm happy about because I love the color scheme on here. It's got a lot of vibrant, fun colors, which I associate with summer as well. So you've got some lollipops, donuts, some little cakes, some nougat. It's just a whole bunch of fun in here. And you'll recognize that you have kind of the same design. So like I've got like the same donut in different sizes, which I think is interesting because especially with this film strip, I might have some that are a little smaller that will work in here better than the larger ones. And then you can use larger ones as a focal point, maybe for another card. It's completely up to you. But I find that using like kind of a background or an outline die, kind of like those film strips, kind of helps you create like the composition of your card. And that's where I was going with this recipe. So that's the first step. We've got our background pieces of cardstock here. I've also got some pink going. These bright, vibrant colors work with those die cuts, or sorry, the ephemera. The pink one, I did cut that. I cut that down to an A2 size, so 5.5 by 4.25. And the purple here is just a little bit smaller by 1/4 of an inch on the top and bottom to create a 1/8 of an inch border all around. So I can stick that on here. So that purple panel is 5.25 by 4 inches. I've layered that together and I'm kind of putting those 2 film strip pieces on my card panel to create my composition. So you can see we're just adding 2 on either side. You could maybe add one of the other film strips and maybe tuck things in those. That creates another kind of fun design for this card as well. I'm sticking with the 2 larger film pieces, and I'm just going to tuck these fun candies and donuts into the picture frame here. And I have to admit, this card is making me really hungry already. It is around lunchtime for me as I'm recording this, but yeah, you're probably going to want something yummy after this. Anyways, I am just kind of placing them where I feel that it looks the best. It's really just more kind of like a collage building exercise here. And I like the idea of having those die cuts, sorry, the ephemera overflowing from the film strip. And I'm going to have some kind of overhanging kind of coming out from the picture onto the card, which is the kind of look that I'm going for here. So I'm just playing around with it. And that's all I recommend doing for yourself. It doesn't have to be any specific way. If you have put together your ephemera in a way that you like on that film piece there, and you're afraid, oh no, if I move it, it's not going to go back the same way I had it, you can always use some press and seal wrap and pick it up with the press and seal so that you don't lose its position, and then just glue down all the backs. I will save that for another card video. If you know what I'm talking about, you know exactly what to do, but stay tuned and don't forget to like and subscribe to the Scrap and Stamp YouTube channel so I can show you that technique a little later on. So for this video, we are just piecemealing it. We're just having fun with it. Nothing has to go in any specific position. It's just kind of putting it down and seeing what looks good, making sure that the same colors don't overlap too much, using the different sizes of these different candy and donut ephemera. And I am using a mix of glue and some foam adhesive to create different layers and levels of the background and foreground here, so that some of these ephemera kind of stick up a little more than others. You notice that donut's kind of sticking through the panel behind the film strip, which I think has a really fun look as well, as well as having like that not the popsicle, but the lollipop kind of overhanging over the top there. I'll do the same thing on the other film piece at the bottom here. You'll notice I'm kind of positioning it where I want and then sticking down the white centerpiece. Then I'll add glue to the film strip and kind of tuck in the donut so that I can kind of have it sticking out underneath as well, which gives it that fun look I was going for. Now, once I've got that all stuck down, I can start building up that film piece again, adding all of the extra little bits and pieces here. So I encourage you to kind of look through all of the ephemera, find all the pieces that you really like and you want to use, and make sure to stick that in. I made sure to add one of the rainbow pieces on both of these film strips because I noticed that the other ephemera have like specific colors, especially that chocolate one. There's only like the green in there with that mint piece at the top. So I thought that the rainbow colors really needed to be added in there in order to add that summer fun feel. Yeah, and it's just really about positioning these ephemera where you want and having fun with it. So if you're wondering about that 3-piece recipe, exactly what that is, I have mentioned it in and throughout this video, but I'll go over it specifically here. So the first part of your recipe is you're going to want some type of background die, or just like a frame or something like we're using here, in order to help build the composition of your card. And by composition, I mean just to create the first layer of your card and where you're going to put things. So for example, we have these 2 pieces of film strip that kind of decided that, okay, we're going to have one bundle of ephemera up here and another bundle down here, and that creates your composition. So you need some type of framework die like that, which is the Crafty Canuck film strip die in this case. And then the next step for our recipe is to have the main focal point, which in this case is the Candies and Doughnuts Ephemera. So that's our main focal point, and we're building that up and creating a nice little collage with the ephemera here. Now, in this case, it's the Candies and Donuts. If you check into our video from last week and you missed it, you'll notice that it was a bunch of pieces for Christmas, which was like teddy bears and Christmas trees and things like that. So it's really up to you, and it depends on the theme of your card. Now, the final piece of that recipe, the third piece, is your sentiment. So you're going to want to pick any type of sentiment that works for your card, either a stamp, a die, whatever works for you. For this one, as I mentioned, we're using the La Dolce Vita stamp set because it has the Sweet Life, which works really well with all of the sweet stuff going on in this card. So I have cut off the overhanging bits of that film strip here so that our card's not, kind of sticking out in places. For the sentiment, I've got the Sweet Life. I am going to heat emboss it with some white embossing powder on this kind of like teal bluey colored cardstock, which again, I thought it worked well with this design because if you look at those rainbow colored ephemera pieces, there's like a yellow, pink, green, and this blue. So if you don't have this blue, the green would probably work, like that bright green, kind of like the green that is in the Scrap and Stamp logo. Then you've also got even that yellow would work as well. So what I like to do is pull colors from that ephemera pack because it's already got a color scheme going, right? So that's where I pick my cardstock colors from. So that's a neat little tip if you don't do that already or you haven't worked with ephemera before. It just makes things a little easier. It's just easier to put things, it's faster to put things together, and you already got a color scheme kind of picked for you, so you can just work off of that. So for my sentiment, I'm just kind of figuring out where I want this to go. I did cut it down into kind of like a banner strip, and I think I'm just going to cut off the edges here. You could have you can make those edges instead of straight edges. You could make them flagged edges. It's completely up to you. I thought that the straight was simple and easy here because we've got a lot going on with those donuts and candy. So I'm just going to grab some more of those small foam square adhesive, and I'm going to attach this to the back of the sentiment strip and onto my card panel. And I have to say that these foam adhesives, the squares, the smaller and the larger squares, really come in handy in all my card making. I will have that link in the supplies down below so that you guys could grab that from the store if you really wanted to. So I'm going to go ahead and attach that here. Keep in mind there is a sale going on right now, so I would recommend checking that out if you haven't already. Next, I'm going to go ahead and finish up this card by attaching my panel to the card base, which is just a typical A2 size side folding white card base. And one more thing, just for a little bit of bling, you can add some sequins, some gems, anything you have on hand. I'm going to go back to an oldie, but a favorite. I've got some stickles, silver glitter here, and I'm just going to create some dots throughout the background of the panel and maybe in the background there on the film strip, just to add a little bit of extra sparkle. It ties in that silver glitter cardstock that we have on the film strip, and it just kind of pulls everything together and makes it cohesive. So this finishes off my card for today. I hope that you'll try this 3-piece recipe in your card making for quick and easy cards, and I'd love to see you guys again next time for next week's tutorial Thursday. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.